Related to Congressman Nunes, can you explain why the White House has agreed to meet with him at all about what his findings are? And the reason I ask that is because the minute that Director Comey said that there was an official investigation, it might appear as if the White House is interfering with the investigation, and Congressman Nunes should present his information not to the White House, but to the FBI. So why is anyone here at the White House agreeing to meet with him about his findings?
We'll have a readout for you after that meeting. I think he did this press conference. He made the announcement that he was coming up to see the president to share these findings. I don't know who else he shared them with. I don't know, to your question, I don't know if he's briefed anyone else on it in terms of the intelligence community, either Admiral Rogers or Comey, or whether this is something they shared with him. But I think as after the meeting, hopefully, depending on the classification level, we may be able to share more on that with you.
Is the president concerned at all that there will be an appearance immediately today that he has interfered with an ongoing investigation, whether it's a congressional investigation or the executive branch investigation, by meeting privately with a congressman who says he has information?
So let me get this straight. Number one, we asked, as you know, 2 weeks ago, we said this is the appropriate venue. Number two, you guys have asked us over and over again, why aren't we meeting with certain individuals? The chairman of the committee, that one of the two committees that we asked to look into this, wants to share his findings. I don't, or what he knows. I think that is exactly how we've talked about this working. But I would leave it to Congressman Nunes to come up and to brief and share his thoughts. I don't know what his plan is. Obviously, he briefed the media before he briefed us. He went down and talked about what he had found. So, you know, it's interesting. I didn't see any complaints from you guys when he went down and held a press conference for the umpteenth time talking about his findings and what he's found. There's no complaints from the media when he shares what he's found with you guys, but when he wants to come up here and tell us this is where the investigation stands and here's what I've learned, there seems to be a little bit of an interesting double standard on that.
Just to close the loop, because the president said that he had additional information that he believed the White House or he or his representatives would present related to this investigation, what Congressman Nunes has is not related to that.
You're asking me questions that he has not briefed us. He has not briefed the president. You guys, as I noted, he actually went down and spoke to the media before he shared this with us. So, you know, I would ask the colleagues that ask questions more than you've had. Collectively, the media has more of an opportunity to ask questions and to hear what he has to say than we do at this point. So once we have more to understand what he said, to the extent that we can, I'm sure we'll be glad to share it with you. But the media has more information than we do at this point. John.
Sean, staying on that up here. Didn't we already know that there was incidental collection of intelligence involving some members of the transition team? And I point to...
Not the way you guys ask the questions. I mean... You questioned us every day about what we knew, and now you're coming back to me saying, "Didn't we already know this?" Well,
but didn't we
guess
already
I'm
know
doing
that
somewhat of an effective job.
Flynn was monitored in his conversations with Kislyak.
Right.
So we knew.
Well, I guess my point, John, is I don't know. He made a statement, went down to the press. Until we get briefed on this, until the president gets briefed, I don't know what he knows. And so to ask, until that occurs and until we have the ability to share some of that in an unclassified nature, I don't want to get ahead of it. I don't know what he knows. That's why apparently he's coming up to share his findings with the president. At least that's what he said. Again, let's wait and see how this unfolds.
And on the America Health Care Act, Mark Meadows says they don't have the votes. They need to start over and do a new bill. That sounds like you're in pretty serious trouble.
No, that sounds like one member's opinion. As I mentioned,
who represents a large contingent.
No, but again, I just named a few of the members that are part of that caucus that are come on board. I think that, look, every day you see more and more of those members from that caucus and throughout the entire conference expressed their support for the bill. The president was up yesterday for a while talking to them. We've had members in. The vice president's been actively engaged. Mick Mulvaney, Reince Priebus, Mark Short, and Rick Dearborn, who lead our Leg Affairs team. These guys have been flooding the Hill. They've been on the phone and having meetings with them. There's been a series of members up here all day. I think the trajectory is going very well for us. And
Heritage Action says you can easily fix this bill simply by removing the regulatory framework, the tax credits, and all of that, and you'll get massive buy-in from conservatives. But can you do that?
There's certain constraints that we have in the reconciliation process. And, for those who are steeped in the arcane rules of the Senate, there's a thing called the Byrd Rule. And it does not allow policy to be created. It has to do with the budgetary nature of that vehicle to get that's sustainable at 50 votes. Right now, there are certain things that I think a lot of people would like, but that will not potentially get ruled in order by the Senate parliamentarian. So I understand what people want, but I think that we have created a vehicle to get this done. This is the only way that we will repeal and replace Obamacare. And again, I think people have to recognize that there is a three-step process to doing this. This is exactly how the Democrats enacted it, and this is exactly how we will unwind it and implement a much better system.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.